Hi. Sorry about my background. I'm in a hotel in Seattle, so
Sure you are, Shuchi. That's what you told everybody. I'm positive. Okay, everybody, that is Shuchi Sarkar. She is a global marketing executive for Fortune 500 brands and startups with a focus on biotech, software as a service, business to business, and business to consumer performance marketing, and currently a member of the Forbes Communications Council since July 2021. I met Shuchi when she was the global marketing head for HP from 2017 to December 2019. In January 2020, Shuchi took her talents to the cannabinoid space and is now the chief marketing officer for Creo, where, listen to this very carefully, she oversaw the company valuation process in 2021, set at $175 million without a product or a proprietary technology by leveraging their brand narrative. What a story, literally, Shuchi. Shuchi is going to be speaking to us today about defining your culture and purpose. If you don't learn something from Shuchi, you're not paying attention. Take it away, Shuchi.
Thank you, Deborah. And that was a very long and complicated introduction, but happy to be here amongst all my old friends from print. As Deborah and I were talking about what we should be speaking today, I was talking to her that a couple of weeks back, I wrote an article on LinkedIn, and which is, everybody is having this great resignation and we read about it every day. But at the same time, I have friends who are telling me that they're not finding, the right job. And many of them feel like, why is it that we are not getting what we're looking for? And that led me to think about this a bit more in depth. And I felt like, at a certain stage in our careers, especially in terms of skills, in terms of, our experiences, maybe there are some differences, but more or less you have similar kind of backgrounds, qualifications, experiences when a certain person is applying for a job. I think what makes a difference, and I think this is true of both the employers and the employees, is your cultural fit. Are you really somebody that the organization feels will fit with them culturally? And do you feel that you will be a cultural fit in the organization? Not just, checking off a box in an interview because you know that that is exactly what they're looking for, but the authentic you, the genuine you. Do you really feel that this is the right place for you? Many times, and I'm guilty of this, I've been in conversations where I know that exactly, what is this company, what their culture is, this is what they're going to be looking for. And you tend to kind of put yourself in that box and you want to bring out experiences that you think will be, fitting in the way that they're looking for things. But I honestly believe longer term, if you have to be, happy in an environment, in an organization, in a team, it's really important to be authentic about who you are and what you're seeking, and then try and look for a match with a job and a company that meets that. And that means sometimes you may walk away from a job because you don't feel that comfort, or sometimes the organization, in spite of you having the best of qualifications, may walk away because they feel, okay, you're probably maybe not 100% what they're looking for in terms of a cultural fit. And more, as I speak to my own peers, I find that when they're looking for employees, this is what really drives them, is that fit that is there. And many times people are willing to give up, experiences because of this, softer kind of non-verbal and other cues that they get when they're kind of speaking with you. And I don't think this is a value judgment. If you don't culturally fit with someone, that's fine. It's not that anything is wrong with them or anything is wrong with you. I mean, personally, I've sometimes taken that to heart and got very disheartened. I mean, what the hell? Why was I not the right person? And culturally, why did I not fit there? But I am who I am, and I'm right for some organizations, and maybe I'm not right for some organizations, meaning some organizations may think, oh my God, either she's too ambitious, or she's too aggressive, or she really wants to get things done fast. Or others may say, oh, we love her bold thinking, we love her innovation, we love her spirit of, taking chances, risks, whatever. So I don't think it's a value judgment, and I don't think we should take this to our heart. Net sum, at least for me, I think it's important that we be who we are. We don't try and check boxes, and we try and find that natural fit that will be the best for us. But taking that concept further, it led me to understand, yes, culture is one aspect, but I think there is a much more deeper thread in this. And it brought back a conversation that I had with Antonio Lucio, used to be the, CMO of HP at one point of time. And I remember him telling me, as I was discussing my own career growth, and he was an informal mentor to me. And I was talking about, where I want to go next. And what was driving me all the time was I wanted the next title, and I wanted the next, pay grade in HP. And he said, all that is fine. And it's great to get driven by wanting to become, SVP and, whatever, and VP and stuff like that. But sit back, think and reflect on exactly what is it that you want to accomplish, Shuchi? What is it that is going to make you happy? What is your purpose? What is the brand that you're trying to create for yourself? And what is your purpose? What do you want to achieve in the next 5 or 10 years of your career? And therefore, what are the experiences that are much more relevant to that journey? And to be honest, at first I was like, huh? But then when I went back and I thought about it a bit more, and I spent some time, from all the noise that's always surrounding us, to really spend some time, I realized that really what motivated me and moved me, and something that I really wanted to do over the next few years of my life, was building purpose-driven brands. I wanted to work only with companies who had a mission of either trying to improve humanity or trying to improve the planet, or doing something that had a larger purpose to life. Also realized I had done a lot of transformation things, and I love doing transformation. It constantly motivates me. I love, rebuilding and reskilling and helping people really achieve their own potential, something that I wanted to continue being. And I actually went to a startup where I was the first marketing employee, and then built a team myself. But, the different nuances of leadership and team management as well. Going back and therefore really understanding what is that, what is your purpose? What is it that you want to be known for? And so going forward from that purpose, it was really important to sit and analyze, what is the brand image? If I want to walk into a room or have a conversation with you or with Deborah or with anybody, or, if I was sitting, and they always ask, this is a favorite interview questions, right? They ask you this question about, oh, if your team members were here, what are the things they would say about you? And that made me reflect upon, yes, we are so committed to all the time thinking about, our brands and the brands that we handle, what's their tone and manner, what's their brand personality, but we never do it to ourselves. But at the end of the day, each one of us is our own personal brand, and we are our best personal brand ambassadors. And so, kind of taking that and spending some time to think about, what is it that is your brand? What is it that you want to be known for? And once again, there's no right or wrong to be the answers to this. People tend to think that everybody should be about, risks and innovation and creativity and, getting stuff done, or, great growth, or whatever it is. But, I have met some amazing people who probably, they are not known for these kind of obvious attributes, but there is so much more. They're the most empathetic leaders. They are people who, have such an amazing analytical mind, and they're so much driven by, the eye to detail and what they get into the depths of everything. And so they're much more of that mindset. So I think really being true to yourself, and both to your strengths and weaknesses. In organizations, we always focus on, what are our areas of growth? Where do we need to focus on our development? But one key thing is playing to our strengths. And that's also very important. So therefore, taking your strengths and what is it that you want to be known for? What are those brand values that you want to create for you, the person, me, Shuchi, she, Deborah, Kelly, whoever? What is your purpose, and what is that you want to achieve in the next 5 years of your life? And then sitting back and saying, these are the experiences I need in order to get there. And then looking at wherever you want to go within your organization, outside your organization, outside your industry, and helping get there. I think you will find that you're much more happier, that you are less thinking of your job. I mean, if we can convert our passions into a job, we would be the happiest. And I know friends who've done that. They've given up, big corporate jobs and taken their passions and made it their work. But even if we're working in corporates and we're working in companies, if we can really, do this and be truthful and authentic into who we are, and get those experiences that are much more meaningful to us, I believe we can be happier. Certainly, I've tried to, I can't say 100% because it's always easy to preach, as I was telling Deborah, and sometimes I have to think back and say, am I listening to my own advice all the time? Because I try and look back and say, am I really doing what I'm talking about? And I have to say, sometimes yes, sometimes no. But I have found that after having done this exercise, at least I'm happier. I know what I want, what opportunities make sense for me, what companies make sense for me, what kind of jobs make sense for me, what are the kind of roles I want to do, and what is that I want to be known for, and what is the legacy that I want to leave behind, that 5 or 10 or 15 or whatever years later, even if somebody walks into an organization, they know that this is who I was, this was my legacy. And I think it can be best be done if you are authentic and you're true to your purpose, and you actually spend some time reflecting on really where you want to go.
We have Girls Who Print events often, and at a previous one, Vanessa Carr, who's the marketing director at Domtar Paper, said something that has stuck with me, which is that sometimes that not to look at your career. Am I here? Yes, I'm back. Can you hear me, Shuchi?
Yes.
I'm
sorry.
sorry. You're back. I'm sorry, everybody. So the last thing I was saying was that Vanessa Carr, the marketing director at Domtar, said that not to think of your career as a ladder, but to think of it more as a lattice. And sometimes you go up, and sometimes you need to go to the sides to go up in a different direction. And I think that this is really tied into what you're saying now. I also know from speaking to you previously that you sort of set a little guideline for your career, which is that you weren't ever going to stay anywhere more than 18 months. Was it you gave yourself a time limit, right? And then
that
move
was
on.
Jobs. Like, I wanted to do different experiences, not that I would leave organizations.
No,
but
yes.
Previously, I've never done a role more than 2 years, because I kind of tend to feel that for a person, And that's again true of me. It might be different for others, but I feel like I need to move on to my next challenge. So for me, it's important to, either within the organization or outside, find that. But, connected to what you said, Deborah, I think that's very relevant what she said. But also, I think, like, look at your career as a journey. So at one point you could be up or down, but it's really what you achieve over a span that matters. And so, at one point you could be up or down or behind or whatever, but what really matters is what you've achieved over a span.
I know we're at time. I'd like to ask you one more question. I also just want to thank you because you did change your flight arrangements in order to be at this meeting today. So I don't want to take up your time. But empathy is not something you usually see on a job description. It's not a word or a characteristic that we associated with being rewarded a salary for. So how do we know, that those values, that cultural fit is right for us when we're not really discussing things on those terms? Is it up to the interviewee, the person there looking for a job, to figure this out? Or is it I don't want to put words in your mouth, just how do we figure this out?
So actually, I think today it's evolved a bit. Even the interviewers ask questions to really gauge your emotional quotient, exactly what kind of a leader are you, and do you have that human and empathy skills that are becoming so much more important. I think as an interviewee, you need to be conscious about it. I think you need to ask questions about the organization culture. How do you celebrate failure? What are the most important things that motivate your organization? What is your purpose? And so I think those themselves, it's a question that I always ask: how do you celebrate failure? What do you do with it? And I think that's really important to understand, because it shows you the kind of organization that it is. And I think people who are interviewing you are typically representative of what the organization culture is. And so make sure that you actually, spend some time also as they're evaluating you evaluating them on, do you feel that empathy? Do you feel that humanness? Because every interview will ask you, oh, tell us a time when you didn't really succeed in something, or tell us things that you're focusing on. Like, what is the kind of response you hear from them? What is the kind of nonverbal language? When you tell them something that touches your heart, do they actually respond in that manner? When you talk about a great piece of work that you did, where you felt that you had changed the landscape, do they actually respond in the manner that you think they should, because that work has touched them and touched their heart? And I think going on the company's website, getting a feel exactly of what not the obvious people things are, but really getting an idea of who they are is great. And if you know some people and can do a live check, then of course nothing is better than that.
Shuchi, thank you so much for your time, for always being there for me in your LinkedIn direct messages whenever I tap into you, for really being such a mentor to me. I mean, it's so funny. I mean, when I first met you, I was terrified of you. I was like, oh my God, this woman is controlling everything about what I am doing for the rest of my career here with HP. And you were a tough cookie, Shuchi, but somehow we have become, dare I say, friends. And I just want to thank you so much for being an accomplice and an advocate and a mentor, a leader, and a truly an inspiration. Safe travels, and thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. And of course, we are friends. Thank you.
I'm so excited.
Bye.
Okay.